A deadly crash in Hart County, Kentucky, claiming the life of an 18-year-old student from John Hardin High School. This is the third student to die in a car crash from that high school in less than 6 months.
Heather Fontaine was in Hart County tonight talking to those who knew and who miss Analiese Lindner.
So Joe and I were chilling in the living room. I actually took a nap, and I woke up from my nap, and my mom had texted me saying she hadn't heard from Analiese. I knew she was supposed to hang out with a friend before she came over to my apartment that night to go see a concert in Nashville. So I woke up and I hadn't heard from her. I called her, Joe tried calling her, and then we got a little worried because all of us were trying to contact her and she wasn't replying. Around 2:45, I started to get nervous because we hadn't heard anything, and so my mom started going through her old phone numbers when she had talked to, or the guy she was supposed to be seeing's number, because we didn't actually know him. She wound up getting his number because it was a Bowling Green number, and I called him. His name was Kenny, and Kenny said that he hadn't heard from her either. My mom called me and said she had gotten in contact with one of her friends who shared location with her on her iPhone, and Analiese's car was on the side of the road on the interstate. So my mom had Shelby, her friend, send us her location, and we started heading for where her car was. On the way there, my mom told me that she had contacted the Kentucky State Police, and then further called me and told me that Analiese was not at the car. She had been in a wreck and she was at the hospital.
We were going to eat after church, and I was riding with Joe and his wife Jennifer, and he's got the big truck with the lights and the stuff. He's a fireman, you know. All my guys are firemen here. When the alarm goes off, my congregation leaves. So we were going to eat, and the phone rang, and Jennifer took the call, and they told us that there's a wreck ahead. And we were there within moments of the accident, and now these guys were not called to the scene. Where we were is they pulled right over. He's a fireman, and so Andy was there. We were next, and so Joe got right out. He carries his kit with him in the back seat, so he had his go bag. And I would say to you that she did not feel pain. There was no discomfort. My understanding is that they did get a response from her.
The hospital she got sent to was in Cave City, which was about 25 minutes from Bowling Green. On the way there, I called my dad and told him that she had been in a wreck and that we were on the way to the hospital, but we didn't know anything at all of what had happened. When we got to the hospital, we tried calling the hospital on the way there, and the hospital said that she had not been brought in, which we thought was kind of weird. When we finally got there, I nervously went in there into the front lobby and said who I was and that I was looking for my sister. The nurse said, "Hold on one second," and went back and got someone else. And another nurse named Erin came and greeted Joe and I and brought us to a room as I was looking around for my sister. And when she brought us into a room, she told me and Joe that Analiese had been in a wreck and she had passed away. At that point, I kind of just went into a panic attack. I didn't really hear any of the story at that point. I calmed down a little bit and called my dad, I think, first. And my dad had heard from the hospital that she had died and was just screaming on the phone, "Kirsten, tell me this isn't true. This can't be real. No, no, no," over and over again. When I got off the phone with him, I called my mom. My mom had not been told yet because the police could not officially tell her because she was still a Jane Doe, because they hadn't found her wallet in her car yet with her ID. So I told my mom that she had died.
I was 18 years old when my orchid was white with pink veins spreading on the growing buds and 20 inches tall. In the bathroom of my college dorm, I plunged my fingers into the sticky wet green and wipe it across my face. The sticky wet green preserves my skin and I am no longer blue. And when I'm done, I walk into the world. At the train station, I see a man with piercing blue eyes who I know loves the sticky wet green. It's the man that made me laugh for hours without breathing, the one whose family welcomed me like I was flesh and blood, the man who saved me from the heartbreak I should have had, the heartbreak I wish I had had. I know so much about him, but what does he know about me? He meets my gaze and smiles to warm me up, and he does. For a split moment, he disappears and I thought I was safe. When he comes back, his face is covered in the sticky wet purple. I'm puzzled until I turn and see the blonde woman dripping in the sticky wet purple. I thought you liked green. I could hear myself cry. I did, until I saw purple, he told me. Since I am not purple, I am not here anymore.
My family started the Obviously Analiese Scholarship. The scholarship is going to a student from her high school that is going to the University of Louisville after graduation. And so my dad actually had the idea and brought it to me to start a scholarship in her name to send a student. We opened the scholarship through a GoFundMe the day after she died, and it's been a month now, and she has raised over $15,000 on the GoFundMe alone, and then individuals have donated straight to the school with her name on it, over $2,000. So altogether, in less than a month, she's raised over $17,000. In an attempt to kind of memorialize her and implement a funeral type thing, since we only did a visitation, I had the idea to let off purple balloons, as purple was Analise's favorite color, with notes attached to them to go up to her. Since my family is all over the country, a month after she passed away, April 3rd, we let off purple balloons to kind of memorialize her. Where we were was really cool. We got to do it in the middle of my workday with Joe and some of my closest friends who all came out to support me and let off balloons for not only Analiese but for people they had lost in the past to write notes to. Some of my closest friends even wrote notes to her specifically who never even got to meet her, which was really cool. So much love and so many things sent up to her that day to kind of memorialize and just take a moment to appreciate the impact she had and really celebrate her life.